After the Philadelphia Eagles lost to the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl XI, both offensive coordinator Shane Steichen and defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon left the city of brotherly love for head coaching jobs. While Eagles defensive coordinator Vic Fangio will remain in Philadelphia, it seems like Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen Moore could leave. According to multiple reports, Moore is currently considered the favorite to be named the next head coach of the New Orleans Saints. Therefore, the Eagles could potentially be looking for his replacement following Super Bowl LIX. Unfortunately, the Eagles are very familiar with changes at offensive coordinator. Since Nick Sirianni was hired as head coach in 2021, Philadelphia has already had 3 different offensive coordinators. Jalen Hurts is familiar with change at the spot as well, dating all the way back to his playing days in college. After hiring Moore just last offseason, the Eagles could once again be filling a void at offensive coordinator. Here are 10 candidates to watch for as the next potential offensive coordinator in Philadelphia. Philadelphia, PA, USA. Philadelphia Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni walks off the field after winning the NFC Championship game against the Washington Commanders at Lincoln Financial Field. Mandatory credit, Eric Hartline, Imagine Images. After promoting Brian Johnson in 2023, the Eagles might elect to go with an outside option in 2025. Yet there are several intriguing in-house candidates that Philadelphia could promote to offensive coordinator if Moore leaves. Here are 2 candidates that I believe are worth considering on Sirianni's current coaching staff. Kevin Patullo. Kevin Patullo is considered Sirianni's right-hand man and currently holds the title of pass game coordinator and associate head coach in Philadelphia. He has held numerous titles across 15 seasons in the NFL with 6 different teams. After passing on elevating Patullo in back-to-back seasons, Sirianni could finally give the 43-year-old the opportunity to be Philadelphia's offensive coordinator in 2025. TJ Paganetti. Paganetti initially joined the Eagles as an analyst alongside then head coach Chip Kelly in 2013. Paganetti rejoined the Eagles as an offensive quality control coach and assistant offensive line coach in 2017. He has remained in Philadelphia since then and currently holds the title of run game specialist and assistant offensive line coach. At just 35 years old, the Eagles could look to promote one of their homegrown coaches that has worked his way up through the franchise across numerous coaching regimes. Philadelphia Eagles owner Jeffrey Lurie and Philadelphia Eagles general manager Howie Roseman chat during the game between the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles on November 1st, 2020 at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, PA. Photo by Andy Lewis, Icon Sportswire. Philadelphia's offensive coordinator position has suddenly become a hot landing spot in the NFL. If Moore gets the job in New Orleans, that would mean 2 of the team's last 3 offensive coordinators have earned head coaching jobs. Therefore, many of the rising stars in coaching circles will have their eyes on Philadelphia's potential vacancy. Here are 4 potential candidates on the rise to watch for the Eagles. Nate Scheelhaase. The Eagles interviewed Scheelhaase back in 2023 before promoting Brian Johnson to offensive coordinator. Scheelhaase worked for several seasons at Iowa State under head coach Matt Campbell, who is a close friend of Sirianni's. Scheelhaase worked under Sean McVay in 2024 as an offensive assistant and passing game specialist for the Los Angeles Rams. He served as McVay's play drawer in 2024, which is a prestigious title that has been previously held by current head coaches Zach Taylor and Liam Cohen, as well as Zach Robinson. Jared Johnson was interviewed by the Eagles for their offensive coordinator vacancy before hiring Moore in 2024. Despite C.J. Stroud's down year, Johnson is still held in high regard around the NFL. The 36-year-old is currently in consideration for multiple offensive coordinator vacancies around the NFL. Johnson coached for 2 seasons alongside Sirianni with the Indianapolis Colts. Philadelphia would likely show interest in Johnson once again if Moore becomes the head coach of the Saints. Josh McCown. Ironically, McCown essentially got his coaching start while he was a player for the Eagles. After initially retiring in 2019, McCown signed with the Eagles as the franchise allowed him to travel back to Charlotte, North Carolina, and serve as the quarterback's coach at Myers Park High School, where his sons played. Fast forward to 2025, and McCown has now been a quarterback's coach in the NFL for 2 seasons and helped Sam Darnold put together an incredible performance with the Minnesota Vikings in 2024. McCown is familiar with the organization and is regarded as a rising star among offensive assistant coaches around the NFL. Bobby Slowick. At this time last season, Slowick was regarded as one of the hottest potential head coaching candidates in the NFL. The Texans were coming off a shockingly good season, and Slowick was viewed as the mastermind behind Houston's offense. Yet now the Texans have surprisingly fired Slowick, and the 37-year-old is suddenly looking for work. Given Slowick's experience calling plays for 2 seasons in Houston and his upside, Philadelphia would likely have interest in him if Moore lands the head coaching job in New Orleans. Which experienced candidates could be Philadelphia's offensive equivalent of Vic Fangio. Frank Reich is no stranger to Philadelphia or working alongside Sirianni. Reich was the Eagles' offensive coordinator for 2 seasons and helped the team win Super Bowl LII before becoming head coach of the Colts in 2018. Reich worked with Sirianni for 3 seasons with the Chargers and then for 3 seasons with the Colts. Sirianni has a close relationship with Reich and even got emotional after the Eagles defeated the Colts in 2022, who had recently fired Reich. If Reich returns to Philadelphia as offensive coordinator to work under Sirianni, it would be a full-circle moment. Mike McCoy. Similar to Reich, McCoy has experience working with Sirianni. McCoy and Sirianni worked together for 4 seasons with the Chargers from 2013 to 2016. Sirianni held multiple coaching titles during McCoy's tenure as head coach in San Diego. After spending multiple seasons away from the NFL, McCoy returned in 2022 as the quarterback's coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He would bring a wealth of experience and knowledge to Philadelphia. Ken Dorsey. After playing for 6 seasons in the NFL, Dorsey quickly made the jump to the other side of the league. Dorsey was a pro scout for the Carolina Panthers for 2 seasons, and then made the leap to quarterbacks coach in 2013 for the franchise. Since then, Dorsey has worked his way up the coaching ranks, including stops as an offensive coordinator with the Buffalo Bills and Cleveland Browns. Following an unceremonious and unfair departure from Cleveland, Dorsey could fit well in a much more stable situation in Philadelphia. Eric Bieniemy was one of the hottest head coaching candidates just a few years ago following his success with the Kansas City Chiefs. Yet he never received an opportunity and spent last season as the assistant head coach and offensive coordinator at UCLA. Now Bieniemy is eyeing a return to the NFL and was in the running to be the next offensive coordinator of the New England Patriots, according to multiple reports. Bieniemy ended his playing career in the NFL with the Eagles in 1999. It would be fitting if his next chapter as a coach was in the city of brotherly love as well. The Philadelphia Eagles roster undoubtedly won't look exactly the same by the time the 2025 National Football League season gets here. Philadelphia is loaded with talent everywhere on the roster. The Eagles don't have any glaring holes, and therefore there will be some talented players on the way out of town this offseason. It just isn't realistic to bring back the entire roster, and Philadelphia will have to free up some salary cap space. Pro Football Network made a list top-cut candidates for each team this offseason and suggested Philadelphia should move on from former All-Pro James Bradberry. The best option is likely either Darius Slay Jr. or James Bradberry IV, who would both free up over $4 million in cap space, Pro Football Network said. Rookie DBs Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean's play has given the Eagles some options at that position, but cornerback is a position where depth is valued. If they can keep both Bradberry and Slay, that would be ideal. Of the two, Bradberry is the more vulnerable, having given up 11 touchdowns and a 114.3 passer rating in 2023 and then missing the entirety of the 2024 season. However, he was superb in 2022, and the Eagles may feel that his contract is not so bad they have to move on. Bradberry has missed the entire 2024 season after suffering an injury right before the campaign kicked off. There hasn't been much of an update on him throughout the year, but we should start to hear more after the Super Bowl. Sirianni is also the same coach who could have been fired multiple times by the Philadelphia Eagles in the last year, and inspires an immediate reaction anytime his name is mentioned. I get it that people out there don't like him, Dave Spadaro, Eagles insider for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's one of those guys that if he's not on your team, he's really easy not to like. Internally, though, he's loved. and the players clearly play for him. Spataro has covered the Eagles for decades and will soon watch his fourth Philly Super Bowl up close. He used one word to describe the 43-year-old Sirianni, who is 48-20 since taking over the Eagles in January 2021. Intense, Spadaro said. The last time the Eagles played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, Sirianni went viral before kickoff. Tears rolled down the coach's face as the United States national anthem was sung and played by Chris Stapleton. He's passionate, former Eagles center Jason Kelce said. He loves his guys. He loves his team. In Week 6 of the 2024 season, Sirianni emerged from a bye week to answer a disappointing 2-2 record with a shaved head. Philly rolled off 10 straight wins and hasn't looked back since, riding Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts to the biggest sports stage in America. For as much as some fans loathe Sirianni, he once cursed at Chiefs supporters on camera, the New York native also captures the best of Philly's sports passion. He's been to the playoffs 4 times, Spadaro said, his second Super Bowl, winning just win percentage in Eagles history, and that includes Andy Reid. Among the best 4-year records of any coach in the history of the NFL, is he over the top sometimes with the jawing and the faces and all that? Yes. He created a collegiate, kind of fun atmosphere here where the guys connect. His 5 core values: connect, compete, football IQ, accountability, and fundamentals. And the Eagles have followed those core values to another Super Bowl. For months, outsiders have criticized and questioned Hurts, who must overcome the Chiefs' Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce on Sunday, February 9th in Super Bowl LIX. As they prepare for the Super Bowl, the Eagles announced they've opened the practice windows for defensive end Brandon Graham and tight end CJ Uzomah. Graham went on injured reserve shortly after announcing he tore his triceps following the 37-20 win over the Rams on Sunday Night Football in Week 12. The 15-year veteran originally said he was out for the season in the locker room after the first meeting with the Rams, but he is doing what he can to get ready for the big game on Feb. 9. We'll see. Tomorrow, I'll go meet up, and we'll see if it's a possibility. I've been working, man, but we will see, Graham said after the Eagles won the NFC Championship. At the end of the day, I'm just happy we got there. Those boys scored 55 today, Graham's jersey number. That's what's up. So that might be telling me something. Uzomah was placed on IR on New Year's Day after playing in 7 games, 3 starts, for the Eagles this season. In addition, the Eagles have signed running back Lou Nichols to the practice squad and released tight end Nick Muse. Nichols spent time with Philadelphia during training camp and the preseason in 2024 and returned to the practice squad a month ago. He originally entered the NFL as a 7th-round pick of the Packers out of Central Michigan in 2023. He joined the Eagles practice squad in October of his rookie season and finished the year in Philadelphia. He returned on a reserved or future deal in 2024. Nichols, 5'10", 220 pounds, rushed for 3,061 yards, added 575 receiving yards, and scored 29 total touchdowns in 32 games at Central Michigan. He was the Mid-American Conference Offensive Player of the Year in 2021. Muse did not see any game action with the Eagles after being signed to the practice squad on Jan. 22. Muse was originally a 7th-round pick by the Minnesota Vikings in 2022 out of South Carolina. He has played in 16 games over his 3 seasons, mainly as a practice squad elevation. Written by Liam Wixer. When the Eagles smoked Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders 55-23 in the NFC Championship, Sirianni proudly backed his dual-threat QB. I don't want anybody else leading this team at quarterback other than him. He's a winner, Sirianni said. Again, he deals with so much criticism, which just blows my mind because of the questions I have to answer. I don't look too much into that. The questions I have to answer, it's just like, man, this guy wins. He's won his entire life. Sirianni has faced the same questions ever since he replaced Doug Peterson, who won the Eagles' first Super Bowl in 2017 with Nick Foles and the Philly Special, then was fired 3 years later following a 4-11-1 record and sideline instability. Sirianni, a former wide receiver at Division III Mount Union, rose from Indiana University of Pennsylvania to a Chiefs assistant coach and offensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts. He's won since becoming an Eagle, and is now one victory away from a defining world title that will be cheered by Chiefs haters worldwide. If you are judged by the results, then Nick Sirianni is one of the very, very best, Spadaro said. A Super Bowl victory would finally vault him into that upper echelon. But Super Bowl media week will be overloaded with endless questions, while Hurts and the Eagles' passing game will be scrutinized daily, which means that the love-hate conversation that surrounds Sirianni will only intensify before another national anthem is sung. As recently as October, after Robert Saleh got fired in New York, a headline in USA Today read, "Who else is on the hot seat?" Spadaro said.